video, I want to show you how to set up your Google Analytics account and how to add the tracking code from your newly set up Google Analytics account to your website. And actually, I'm going to show you a couple of ways to do both. Now, first off, to be able to access or use the Google Analytics account, which by the way is free, you have to have a Google account. Whether it's an AdWords account, a Gmail account, Google Drive, whatever, you need that first to be able to sign in or to be able to create an account for Google Analytics. Now, I've already logged into my Gmail account, but you're still going to have to log into Google Analytics through your account if you go here first. Let me just demonstrate. Come on in here, click on sign in. Now remember, I've already logged in. You'll know that because your username will be up here. Click on sign up, and here we are. Now you'll get to the same page if, say, you're already logged in to your Google account. If you come over here to the drop down arrow to the right of your username, click on account. That'll bring you to your accounts page. Click on the products link here at the bottom of your left sidebar. That'll bring you to your products page. Your products page may look a little bit different than this one, but what you're looking for is the analytics icon. Just click on that, and here we are. Look familiar, huh? Go ahead and click on the sign up, and again, here we are. Now, as it says here, this is a beta setup, which means that this could change at any time. That's one thing you need to know about Google Analytics, is that its interface can change from time to time. You can, in fact, track interactions within Android and iOS applications, but we're just going to stick with the website data tracking for right now. So we come on down here. You want to enter the website name. And frankly, I usually use the same here as I do down here under account name. Some people will put in the URL here. I myself just use the name like this, and then I just copy, paste. So now we want to add the website URL and use this as an example right here. Be sure to add the www at the beginning and no trailing slashes at the end. Industry category, just pick one that you think best fits your website's category. Reporting time zone, I'm smack dab in the middle of the country, so mine is Central Time. Again, put in the account name and the data sharing settings. Totally optional, as it says here. Gives you a bit of a description here. Get tracking ID is the next step. Before you do that, you have to agree to the terms of service. Be sure and read through this if you will, and click on I accept if you want to. And here we are. At this point, we now have the tracking code right here. You have other information here that you can customize, but for the time being, this is really all we need. Grab this code. Now, depending upon the type of website that you have, would depend upon how you add this. For example, if you have a Drupal or a Joomla or a WordPress site, then there might be plugins, add-ons, or modules to add to your particular CMS or website that would require you to add this code a different way. For example, I know that with WordPress, there's a plugin, and I'll demonstrate this here in just a second, that only requires the tracking ID. But we'll cover that in just a second. For the time being, I'm going to add this to a static website, which is my demonstration of a static website. Now, with a static website, you need to put that code on each and every web page that you want tracked. Usually with WordPress or these other CMSs like Drupal or Joomla, you put it in one spot and it's tracked throughout the entire website by putting it in what's called the footer of that particular site. But here, if we check out the source code, where we're going to be placing that code is right here above the closing body tag. That's the / followed by the word body. So to do that, you can do it a couple of different ways, either through like your cPanel file manager. Just navigate to the pages that you want to track, open them up in your editor, add the code, save it, and you're good to go. I'm going to demonstrate it by using FileZilla, or the FTP client that I'm using, and that's FileZilla. So I want to log in, and I want to go to the public_HTML. That's where the index.html page is located at. And I've got my FileZilla client set up to edit on the fly. So I'll go to view/edit. And if you do not, then what you want to do is just download the files you want to track to your desktop, make this edit, then upload them, overwrite the existing files on your server, and you'll get the same results. So I want to go to source. Come on down here just above the closing body tag, add that code. Save, close, click on that, click on yes, and we're good. Come on back, get this guy out of the way here. Come on back to our page, refresh this, and there's the code. And it's that simple. As you can see on the page, There's no sign of that code being here. It's kind of working behind the scenes. Now, using WordPress as an example, we would go to Plugins, Add New, do a search for Google Analytics, click on Search Plugins. And I use the Analyticator quite a bit, but there's a lot to go with that. So to keep things simple for this video, I'm just going to go with Google Analytics. And if you're new to this, then what you might want to do before you install now, check out the details. So we're going to go ahead and install now. Click on Activate, come over to Settings, go to Google Analytics. Simple assignment. All they're asking for here to make Google Analytics work on your WordPress site using this plugin is the Web Property ID. Come on back to Google Analytics, grab our tracking ID here. That's what they're talking about. Copy. Come back here. Paste. Save changes. And we're good to go. So that's a couple of different ways that you can add Google Analytics to your website, plus a couple of different ways that you can sign up for Google Analytics. And before I close out the video, one last thing. Let's head on back over to the Google Analytics website. And one thing I want to point out here is on the Learn tab, come on down here to the Get Starting section. This setup checklist is a pretty good page to bookmark. As you go through here, you've got links to the various tasks involved in setting up your GA account. So as you go through and you complete that particular task, hit that check mark. And so when you come back to this page later on, you know where you left off at. That's going to bring us to the end of this video on setting up your GA account. Thanks for watching, and you have a great day. This video will walk you through a quick tour of the Google Analytics, or GA for short, user interface. Now, as you're looking over the information being supplied by your GA reports, you should be thinking, how is this information going to help you better optimize your site and the content that you put there? Now, by default, unless you customize the look of your Google Analytics reporting pages, the default page you will more than likely land on is the audience overview page. That's where we're at right now. And you'll notice too that in most all of these, you're going to have an overview section: traffic overview, audience overview, real-time overview, and so on. But the overview section should be looked at as more of a trend instead of a definitive fact. For example, here on the visits, this shows how many times your site was visited. But what if one person visited your site 1,474 times? That's not going to give you a pretty accurate account of just how popular your site is, well, except for that one person. So unique visitors comes into play. This, according to Google Analytics, and as you can see as I hover over these, a little pop-up shows up to give you further explanation as to what this particular metric is about. But unique visitors will give you a better idea as to how many different or unique people showed up your site. But even this number can be a little misleading, because if a particular visitor were to have visited your site 3 different times, but did so through a different browser each time, or each time they got out of their browser they cleared the cookies, then Google Analytics would show that person as 3 different people. So again, look at these as trends instead of definitive facts. To drill down even further, go ahead and click on this graph icon to the left of the number, and it will give you more details right up here. As you can hover over each one of these nodes, it will pop up with the information related to that particular date. And to get this date range up top here, come on up here in the top right corner, hit that drop down arrow, and you can select the date range. By default, it's going to come up with 30 days. And a cool thing about this too is that not only can you customize this date range, but you can also compare the date range you choose to a previous date range. So if you did some optimizing last year, last month, last week, and you want to compare it to the current year, month, or week, then you have that ability right here. And in addition to showing you by the date, you can also go by the hour, week, or month using these parameters here. Granted, you do have the ability to drill down a little bit using the information here in the overview section, but you really should get in the habit of drilling down over here in the left sidebar. For example, under demographics, yeah, you could come over here, but let's go ahead and go over here instead and click on language or location. Behavior, which by the way gives you information on how visitors are interacting with the content on your site. Are they coming back for more? Do they leave comments? How often do they visit and revisit? Now the technology here, that's pretty cool too. Just when you think that nobody's using Internet Explorer 7 anymore, well, you click on the browser and OS, And well, I got 8 people. Actually, I'm really surprised that there's actually 6 people using Internet Explorer 6. So you can be surprised. And you can even check out screen resolution, screen color, flash version, and the all-important other. Traffic sources and audience is probably the 2 most important areas you're going to be checking out on this sidebar over here. Now, while I could go into great detail on each one of these, the video may end up being 2 hours in length. So to avoid that, let me go ahead and tell you that if you come over here to the Help section in the top right corner and click on the Help Center, it'll open up in a new window. But right down here under Interface Map, click on that, and it'll give you a bit of a map of the entire interface, and each one of these color-coded circled numbers will be broken down for you down here at the bottom. Blue, yellow, green, and red. And as you can see, some of these have links to other pages that further explain that particular element. Now, one thing too, while I'm here, let me go ahead and close this up. Another thing that I just recently noticed in my GA reports is up here. Right now we've got this bar graph, but you can also get line charts, and this is pretty cool, as it just pops up off the screen here. It says motion chart. Go and click on that, and right now we're in the browser section. If we hover over these, you can see the different browser names. But check this out, and you can customize this even further over here. But let's go ahead and hit the play button. See the date. It tells you how active each one of those browsers are. Okay, anyway, you get the idea. This is probably for people that have more time on their hands than they should actually have. And up here at the top, you've got some customizations. You can go into your admin section, the home section, and again, a lot of this stuff is explained to you in further detail than what I have time for in this short video right here on that interface map page that I showed you. And that's going to bring us to the end of this video on a tour of the Google Analytics user interface. Thanks for watching, and you have a great day. Having a custom dashboard in your Google Analytics account allows you to view only the information you find useful for your particular situation or the specific situation of someone else that might be on your team. This video will show you how to create and manage custom dashboards in your GA account. Now, of course, to do this, you have to be logged into your Google Analytics account, and you can do that a couple of different ways. Right now, I'm on the Google Analytics homepage, and I've already signed into my Google account or my Gmail account, but you can do the same thing through AdWords or whatever Google account you have access to. So when I click on sign in here, it's going to automatically take me into my GA account. And if you have multiple websites under this one account, you want to navigate to the URL or to the website you want to create this dashboard for, and then click on the all website data link. And unless you customize things, you're going to end up on the audience overview landing page. And what we want to do now to get to the dashboards is over here on the left sidebar, click on dashboards up here at the top. And here we'll give 2 different links: private, which exposes all of the dashboards you've created, and the new dashboard. Now, if one or more of your custom dashboards you've created is also being shared to other individuals that have access to this account, then there'll be a third item up here that says shared with a drop-down arrow like this one, and you hit that drop-down arrow and it will expose all the dashboards created under the shared account. So right now we want to go ahead and click on new dashboard. Here you've got 2 options. The starter dashboard, which as you can see by this icon, has pre-populated widgets in there, which you can go in and edit or delete or move around as you see fit, and I'll cover that here in just a second, or a blank canvas. Now, there are no wrong answers here. You can click on whichever one you want to get things started, but at this point you want to be asking yourself good questions relating to the information you want to pull from the dashboard you're going to be creating. For example, if you're going to be creating a custom dashboard for Martha over in marketing, well, then the information for Martha should be related to the information she needs, obviously, and that will possibly be different than the custom dashboard information you need to pull for Dan over in design. So keep that in mind as you're thinking about these questions, because the answers to those questions will be giving you a better idea as to what widgets or what metrics or dimensions you're going to be pulling into your custom dashboard. That said, let's go and give this puppy a name first off. And for lack of imagination, I'm going to go with Marketer's Dashboard, and I'm going to go with Starter Dashboard just to give you a good feel as to what it will look like once you throw in some dimensions and some widgets. So right now we've got these widgets in here for new visits, unique visitors, visits, got a geo map, this is a timeline, we've got a table, and we've got some things that I'm going to go ahead and delete to clean things up a little bit here. I need that one, and I'll show you here in just a second how to create one of these widgets here. Now, while we're here, I'm going to also show you that you can customize the actual layout of your dashboard. Right up here in the top right, customize dashboard. Right now it's the 50-50 shot. You got 2 columns, both are equal in width. You can go with the 25% and 4 columns. You've got 2 columns here where one's bigger than the other one, and so on. So pick whichever one you want. And remember this, you can always come back in and change this stuff later on. Now to add a widget, come on up here and you click on Add Widget. You want to give it a name, and the name should reflect the information that's going to be contained in that widget. Then you decide on what form you want that information to be displayed. And I'm going to go with table. And depending upon the form you want that information to be displayed, depends on how it's going to be laid out here. The dimension, it's going to be, in this example, keyword. Then you want a metric or the results. What do you want to show for that particular dimension? I want a percentage of the new visits and average time on page. You can show the number of rows you want, a maximum of 10 in this example. You can add a filter because maybe you do not want certain keywords to be displayed because that might skew the results you're actually looking for. Again, depending upon who this customized dashboard is for. I'm going to go ahead and leave that out for the time being. Click on Save. And here's our new widget. You can always come back in here later on and edit that or just get rid of it altogether. Now you can also add advanced segments. So let's say to all these widgets I have in this particular dashboard, I also want to see the search traffic versus paid search traffic. Click on Apply, and it's going to go ahead and add those 2 parameters in here for each item that was displayed in that particular widget. Under Browser, for search traffic, there is 2 for Chrome, 0 for paid. And then under Internet Explorer, search traffic, paid search traffic, and so on. And if you're not liking the results, or maybe you find later that those results aren't really what you're wanting for this particular custom dashboard, then get rid of them. Now, if there's a widget or information you want in this custom dashboard that you come across quite a bit, let's say in your traffic sources report, then let's head on over here and let's say direct traffic, and you want these details. You want this timeline and this table in your custom dashboard. Come on up here, click on Add to Dashboard. Select the dashboard that you want to add this particular information to, and in this case we only have the 2, marketers and the default dashboard. What of this report do you want to add? I want to add both the timeline and the table. Click on Add to Dashboard. It's going to bring us back to our dashboard with those 2 widgets added. Pretty cool stuff, huh? Then of course, what are you going to do with this information once you get your dashboard created? You can export it as a nifty little PDF, or you can email it. This is pretty cool too. You can decide who you want to email it to, and if you've got certain groups defined in your Gmail account, then you can start typing in the name of that group and it will populate this with that group name, and this email will be sent out to everyone within that group. And you can do so on an automated basis to be done weekly, daily, or just this one time. Pretty nifty. And here's that shared option I was talking about earlier that will create an additional item up here under your dashboards box. If you share it with other people, that's a little people plus icon, or just get a link so that you can take that link and toss it in an email somewhere. And again, only people that have access to this account will be able to view that. Click on Shared Dashboard, and there you go. It's in both the private and the shared. And to close out this video, I'm sure that I've missed quite a bit of information on creating customized dashboards, most of which you can get from the help section. Depending upon the page that you're on, this help section, go ahead and click on this up here in the top right corner, will give you suggested articles, again, related to the page that you're on within your GA account. So to get more information on creating, editing, or deleting dashboards, there you go. Go ahead and get out of here. And that's going to bring us to the end of this video on creating and managing custom dashboards for your Google Analytics account. Thanks for watching, and you have a great day. Once you have your Google Analytics account active and added to a website, you might find a reason to put additional users on that account so they can see the data. This could be one of your virtual assistants or a business partner, or maybe you're trying to sell the site and you want to provide access to the analytics of the site instead of just screenshots of the data, which some folks know can be faked. This video will walk you through the simple steps of adding either another admin to the Google Analytics account or a user with limited permissions. So naturally, the first thing we want to do is log into your GA account, and you do that by heading over to google.com/analytics. And if you're not already signed in to a Google account, you know, like Gmail or AdWords or whatever, then whenever you click on sign in, it'll prompt you to enter your username and your password. Now, I'm already signed in with my Gmail account, and you want to click on the profile that you want to add the user to. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Come on up here to admin, click on that particular profile. Come on up here and click on users. Click on new users. Now you see right now I currently have one administrator and one user. Naturally the administrator is going to be all powerful, so you want to be careful if you are going to add another administrator to the account, because they could very easily lock you out or delete you altogether. So keep that in mind. So I'm going to go ahead and add a user. Pretty straightforward stuff. Selection method. Create a new user for this account and grant access to this profile, or select existing account users to grant access. I'm just going to create a new user for this account, and you want to put in their email address, and that particular email address needs to be registered with Google accounts in some form or fashion. And I just so happen to have a Gmail account I'm going to use, and for the roles I'm only going to grant user. And click on notify this user by email if you want to send them an email letting them know that they now have access to this account and what role that access grants them. Click on add user, and it's really just that simple. Come on over here if you want to adjust their settings from user to administrator, or if you want to remove them altogether. And that's how easy it is to add additional users and adjust their roles into your GA account. That's going to bring us to the end of this video. Thank you much for watching. You have a great day. This video will show you how to set up goals in your Google Analytics account. Now, first off, a goal is what you want someone to do whenever they get to your site. If, for example, you're selling stuff on your site, then the goal would be the visitor getting to the purchased products download or thank you page after, of course, they've made their payment. Another goal example would be if your site is for, say, an offline tree trimming business and you offer a free tree trimming estimate and a free guide to maintaining your tree after being trimmed. All the visitor has to do to get that stuff is to enter their name and email address and phone number, and then after doing so, they'll be directed to the download or thank you page to get that free guide, and then wait for you to contact them for that free estimate. So in this example, the goal is whenever the visitor ends up on your thank you page and gets that free download for maintaining their trimmed tree. So the first thing that you want to do before even logging into your Google Analytics account is define the goal that you want to track and the path from beginning to the end, or the entire funnel process. Now, for the sake of simplicity, this demonstration will be a sales page at the beginning or the mouth of the funnel, then ending with the goal or the download or thank you page. Let me demonstrate. In this example, I have the domain or the website here, and on this website there might be several different sales pages and several different niches, each one having their own thank you page. For example, the niches might have their own individual email capture form. Each one of those will have their own thank you page to give whatever free carrot that they dangled to get that email address captured in the first place. Likewise with the sales page. There might be several different sales pages here, each one having their own individual thank you or download page. And it's a good idea to track each and every one of those individually, and you'll see what I'm talking about here in just a second. But here's the sales page. Typical sales page, you got pretty pictures, you got a buy now button. Somebody shows up here, likes what they see, hit the buy now button, goes through the payment process, boom, lands on the thank you page. This is the goal. This is the page we're going to be tracking. So let's go ahead and log into our Google Analytics account. I've already logged into my Gmail account, so when I click on sign in, it's going to take me directly to my GA account. If you have not logged into your Google account of some sort or another, then a box is going to pop up here asking for your login credentials. At this point, click on the link to the profile that you want to create the goal in. I'm going to go with sales process. Over here on the left sidebar, you have the conversions down here at the bottom, and that is where you can see the goal information of those goals you've created. Over here in the top right corner is where you actually go to create the goal. Click on admin. Now you choose the profile that you want to create that goal in. Now, a little bit of information to know before we go further. You are only allowed 20 different goals per profile. Once a goal is created and activated, you cannot delete it ever. So if at some point down the line you find that you're running out of those 20 goals and you need more, you might feel tempted to go in and edit one of those goals, which you can do. The problem with that, though, is that all the reports generated from that point on containing that edited goals information will be a little confusing. So you want to do your planning process ahead of time. Now you can go ahead and delete a profile, which would delete all of the goals within that profile, come back and recreate an entirely new profile with the same name, and then you'll have 20 goals to create again, that's fine and dandy. But keep this in mind too. The information from the goals are not retroactive. As soon as you create a goal, it will only start generating information from that point forward. No matter how long you've had your Google Analytics account on this particular domain, a goal is not going to provide you with retroactive information. So keep that in mind whenever you're considering deleting a profile just to create a bunch of new goals. Okay, that said, let's click on this profile and move forward. Now you come up here and click on goals. And by the way, right here you can see you've got 20 goals remaining. Click on create a goal. And based on the scenario that I've described, this top one is the one we're going to go with. Come on down here and click on next step. Give it a name. And the type, based on what I've described so far, destination is the one that we're going to be tracking. The duration or pages per visit are pretty good to track if, say, you're trying to sell advertising on your site. Click on next step. And at this point, we want to put in the destination URL here, and that's this guy right here. And now you have to choose which of these three options you want to use in the method of tracking this. Now myself, I usually go with begins with, because most of my sales pages have security built in to make dynamic, or what's called dynamic, thank you page URLs. In other words, it's this thank you page URL here with a whole bunch of special characters and letters and numbers at the end that make this URL expire after a certain amount of time and makes it very difficult to pass around all the black hat sites out there. The one thing that is constant is the beginning right here. So if I use the begins with option, then I'm good to go. Otherwise, I take a chance of this not being tracked. Now for more information on this or any of this other stuff, come on up here to the top right corner and click on help. Now in doing so, I want to let you know that the help documentation has not yet caught up with the newness of this particular goal setting screen, because this is brand new. As of this recording, this is only a couple of weeks old. The documentation, not so much. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Let's go ahead and do a search in here for goal details destination. Click on search. Click on destination goal examples and come on down here. Now a lot of the information is going to be right in here, but what I want to demonstrate here is match types. See where it says exact match, head match, or regular expression match? These three items, 1, 2, 3, are these three items right here. Because about a week or so ago, this did not say equals to or begins with. It said exact match. This said head match. And this one here still says regular expression. So the definition they're giving you here and the examples they're giving you here are referring to equals to, begins with, and regular expression, respectively. So aside from that, most of this other help information is actually helpful. So let's go ahead and close this out. And the value and funnel, it says optional, but it really does add to the information in the reports if you have these on. Now the value for a sales item is pretty simple. Just put in the purchase price. Let's say this widget is going to cost $10. If you are tracking emails, then the industry average is about $1 per subscriber. I mean, if you're a typical email marketer. So if that's what you're trying to track, then just throw in $1 there. I would say do not leave it blank. I mean, it will work if it is blank. It's just that the reports that you get based on this particular goal will look a little bit funky. So with the funnel, I want to add that as well. And mine is kind of a simple funnel. We've got the sales page here. That's step 1. Give it a name and put in the page URL and click on yes, you want this to be required. And then any other steps, not speaking about the goal, because you don't want to put this in as one of the steps. That's the goal. So this is our goal right here. Now, if this were an actual site that I'm tracking and all this information were actually stuff I wanted to track, then I would click on verify this goal, and it would give you, based on the last 7 days, a percentage of the conversions, which is kind of funny because goals are not retroactive. Remember me saying that? But for demonstration purposes, if you click on verify this goal, they will give you the conversions based on the information in your GA account for the last 7 days. Weird. If they can do it for the last 7 days, why couldn't they just do it for the, last year or so, or however long you've had your GA account? Okay, commentary over. Click on create goal, and we're good. We now have our goal created, and you got 19 left under this particular profile. So how does this help you out? Now that you've got the goal created, come on back to reporting. And if this were, say, a month or two down the line, and this were, say, an actual site that I was tracking sales information on, then I will be able to provide you with the details over here under the goals. But this is information that you'll get from your site once you have your goal created. And it will take somewhere between, I don't know, 5 to 20 minutes or so, depending upon what you're tracking, before you're getting information. And of course, if you're tracking sales, you're not going to get a whole lot of information until you get sales. But one thing that you will get, though, is goal flow. This is very cool. Now, since I don't have anything up here on this particular goal or this particular domain to actually demonstrate this, I want to show you one from one of my other sites. And this just being an image, you're not getting the true benefit, because once you have yours set up, you'll have all this information down here based on the different steps within the funnel, because that last item, the funnel that was optional, this is what I put in there as far as the steps. Step 1, Step 2, Step 3, and Step 4. That's all the details pertaining to each one of those steps. Step 1, Step 2, Step 3, Step 4. And each one of these little red lines here are the drop-offs. So if there are no numbers in here, and you can barely see right there, there's a 0. Barely see right there, there's a 0. There's a 0 there, which is good, because if there were numbers in here, then that would tell you that something here made these people drop off at this point and kept them from going on to the next step. And if you've got 0, 0, 20, or 30 in this drop off, then that tells you that everything's cool up to this point here. Something in this particular step is making people want to leave. So it's at that point you want to investigate further into this section or this element or this step to find out what might be making people leave and fix it. Very cool tool to help optimize your sales process. And as you hover over any one of these elements, boxes will pop up with a ton of information. So that's just one of the cool things about the goals, and the reports you can get from the goals is all this information you can gather, which hopefully will be beneficial in helping you optimize your entire process of gathering leads or generating sales. That's going to bring us to the end of this video on creating goals in your Google Analytics account. Thanks for watching, and you have a great day.